Is he gonna get the kill? He is gonna get the kill.
Getting that regen and then going into damage. He's working out.
Every time Ruby's in a bad spot, he gets caught up by the silence cut. He needs to wait for it to get off, and he will wear off. He tries to run away, but Trigger will find him with the dash. But at what cost? He's so low, he's on the wrong side of things. Bart will only be barely escape out of there right away with this. But the Gila rages around. And honestly, no cost whatsoever. We finally have our first kill of the game, and it goes towards Triggerfinger. It will end up picking up the first turret of the game as well, which is a really huge swing. And a
Welcome all to the Awesomenauts Rumble Gathers. This is our June Gathers event, and this is our monthly tournament that we host usually on the third weekend of every month. This month it's going to be on the second weekend of the month where we cast competitive gameplay. It's a big old tournament, and everyone's competing right now. Joining with me today is going to be the wonderful, one of my favorite late night streamers of Awesomenauts, Pyruchis. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much for the compliment and the introduction. But yeah, you are correct. We're doing it this month on the second weekend of the month because it actually is a pretty busy month on the competitive scene. So, you know, organizing with other events, coordinators, things like that. Pillow actually was talking with others and things like that, getting things set up for this. But we are slotted in today, and just excited to be here to get into a cast.
Yeah, no, definitely, 100%. And it's really great to be able to see everyone come together, because looking at the numbers, when we look at May gathers and look at June, the amount of teams participating have tripled. But now just as excuse me, just to see everyone coming together now and watching how the free-to-play launch has changed up everything, it's actually just incredibly cool. With that said, guys, just a little bit about what you guys can expect from the stream today. We're doing the qualifiers today. We're doing the live cast of the finals tomorrow. Right now, we have a bunch of people in game. Our moderators are running frantic, trying to keep everything taken care of, getting the teams going. So big shout out to them. As for we're going to be casting about 5 sets today. I want to give everyone a reminder that you can check out all of our social medias right below where I'm pointing. I spent like a million hours redoing all the info panels to make them nice and professional. And also the signups for July gathers is actually already open. There's a direct link to that right at the top there. And so if you're interested in participating in what's about to unfold before your eyes, then you go ahead and sign up with your friends and be ready for next month. So with that said, Pyro, I believe it's time we get into our first match. What do you say?
I think it is time for that. Definitely exciting. Like you said, these are almost going to be live. A lot of teams gathering up today, so we're going to have our first one slotted up for right now. So let's go and get into it.
Indeed. Looking at this first match, first let me just mention to everybody, we do a bet system on each and every one of our matches. So if you tell us who you think is going to win, then in the chat right now, red team or blue team, you'll be eligible for a giveaway after the match if you guess correctly. So if you type blue and Ryan ends up winning, then you're going to win a giveaway. Go until the match begins. Your guesses, and there is no fancy Nightbot command. We just do it manually. So, with that said, it's Blue Shell versus Run. On Blue Shell, that's gonna be Funyun, Triple Joe, and Jelly. Run features Namba, Roach Cake, and Uberancy. Blue Shell banned out Vinny and Spike and Clunk. Picked up a Penny, a Raylan, and a Voltar. Run banning out Genji and Deadlift, kind of going for the tournament traditional bans there. And what do you call it? Picking up a Durple, Ted, and Swiggin. How do you feel about these comps, Pyro?
I think they're fairly interesting comps. I would actually personally be pretty scared of the blue team's comp in this situation. Pretty tanky and has a lot of good coverage in a lot of areas, you know. Good control coming up from Swiggins and snares from Durple, area coverage from Durple as well. And especially on Rivet, you know, there's a classic vertical jump pad that's going up that's going to be pretty easy for Ted to cover. So if red team wants to hold any kind of foothold in any kind of area coverage, I think you're going to have a bit of difficulty doing that. At the same time, we are going to have things coming out from the red team that are going to be interesting as well. A lot of damage, potential amp shenanigans going on with Penny, things like that. And Voltar, I think we all are familiar with Voltar, that he's a pretty good support, but also can dish out a decent amount of damage if you let him. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how these things play out, kind of like a pretty tanky mixed bag team versus kind of like potentially a team that is able to stay in for a long time and also dish out good damage.
Definitely, and while the blue team, they deal a lot of damage, they go in hard, really easy for to mess up. You go in on that rift and you get pulsed. That's just like the most headache-inducing. You just died, sort of shenanigans ever. And to think you do have to acknowledge the fact that you got Rift versus Durple and Swiggins. That's two knots that like to, you know, Durple obviously is countered by that Rift. You know, he's completely stationary, and the Rift comes down on him, and he just can't move. Like, it gets done. There's no dodging it. You're just about not being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And but then you have to consider the Swiggins, who he goes in with an anchor dive, easy Rift. And then you have the pulse, and you have that 25% amplify. If he picks up the chicken lunchbox upgrade, dealing so much damage, and Voltar just keeping that push going, get in the hills, and doing 1,000 damage nukes. It's really something that you gotta watch out for. With that said, however, Pyro, I believe it's time we go ahead and get into the gameplay here. We know what everyone's tuning up for, so.
Yeah, right. As much as we like talking about this, I think it's time for us to get into the game and actually get into the action here.
Alright, I am at the 21-second mark. Would you like to give us a countdown, man?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off. On the red side, you got Funyun playing the Penny. That's who that is with those weird symbols. Chupa Joe playing the Voltar, and Jelly playing the Raylan. On the blue side of things, you got Roach Cake playing the Swiggins. You got they're all muddled together. It's hard to say. Uberancy playing the Ted, and Namba playing the Durple. And they are off. We're gonna see Namba going into mid, seeing if he can get set up. He already has that snare in that mid trap, doing what Durple's known for on Rivet. Gonna clear out those droids. They have a strong control right here. You're gonna see a Siege nuke, but it's gonna bounce down and not go into the red team there. A little bit of Pokemon out. There's gonna be an anchor dive and an airstrike, dealing some damage to the red team. The hill bot's gonna heal it right back up in there. But even gonna manage to get a tiny fraction of a chip on that turret using those droids. We're gonna see Jelly using the Rift, catches Namba, gets a snipe off, hits all three of them with a snipe, getting them all low. Airstrike gonna control mid, gonna buy some time. Anchor dive and anchor hook coming out onto the Voltar. Not much gonna happen. It's already healed off, and now he's lost his hook. He's gonna have to get out of mid, and the push is now in favor of the red team. That gun Penny coming out from the Penny there, doing its own tiny fraction of push right now to that top turret. Blue team gonna go down, gonna go in, got the anchor dive cancellation on the Raylan, and now they're gonna march with those droids. Airstrike coming out, and Voltar and Penny caught out. There's gonna be your first blood. There's gonna be a possibly double kill, and they get caught off. Now Jelly's in a really bad situation, trying to get out, barely gets out at 220 HP. That's going to be a 2-for-0 pickup for the blue team. They should be able to get some good push off of this now. And Pyro, what just happened so that they got cut out like this? Were they just being too overconfident in their pushing? Did they play the team fight wrong?
I think that's what really happened here. I think it's kind of it's difficult to say precisely because in a competitive sense, things can change so quickly. So, you know, in a regular pub match, you would say that's pretty safe, you know, 2 knots up there pushing, they had droids and everything like that as well. But unfortunately, they were just cut off on the between them and their turret by the blue team, and just was, you know, airstrike, a nuke, and then being locked by Swig and just kind of fortunately locked their fates right there. So that's kind of one of the things that I was talking about to maybe look out for, was just the amount of control that blue team would have. You know, speaking of which, I did want to point out some of the first items that we're going to be seeing here. Stun pack coming up from Ted, classic first item pick, but it does go a long way in order for its AoE to stun people in his airstrike, or to stun enemies out of their abilities or anything like that. Also, Gun Penny, you mentioned it earlier, but as a first pick, something that isn't uncommon, but I think is worth noting, just that it's going to be helping clearing out. It's going to have to wait a second. There's going to be another team fight coming out right here. Penny is going to be cut out, unfortunately. Just all 3 of them collapsing right there on her right there. So it is going to be another 1-for-0 trade, making it a 3-0 lead in favor of the blue team in terms of kills. Yeah, making the level difference also an entire level up. And so right now I'm pretty sure blue team is a little bit on their defensive, making sure that maybe they want to be a little bit more cautious in the future, but we'll see how things go from there. It's going to be a little bit of push on the top right there. It's going to be making their top turret about half health. So right now, blue team is definitely winning in the coverage game, area coverage I should say, as well as in the pushing game. So we'll see how things go from there. But you know, like I said, I think it's safe to say that red team is a little bit on the defensive right now. I think it's pretty early, but I think if things keep going like this, it's not going to end very well for the red team. So what do you think they need to potentially do a little bit differently, or maybe what would you suggest that they pick up in terms of items or strategy in order to change that up?
Ultra's going for the knockback build here, which at most really that's going to help him at times if he gets really cut off versus Ted, and can help him cancel anchor dives. But I don't think it's really what they need right now. Like, Durple obviously doesn't care. I think he should be going for damage. They need to find ways to control that mid. Things that can help them do that is getting rift, is getting damage, is building the stuff like that, getting the Hillbot mine. If he's going to get a knockback, I would be going for the tank right now. That's going to be the knockback on the Hillbot, so he can use, because that includes a mini stun that the drones knockback doesn't have, that'll let him cancel out the anchor dive as they go in. And there's going to be airstrike coming out, hits the droids, hits Penny. They're all going to be backing up a bit. Boltar hilling them off. They're trying their best to start off with the push. Roach Cake and Namba getting low. They're going to get sniped, and Roach Cake barely getting out there, but they managed at just a sliver of HP as he sniped inside of the rift. But amongst all that push, they got that siege nuke off, and were able to now get that turret down to about 1/4. We're going to see Uberancy and Ted, just Uberancy and Ted, Uberancy and Nanba, Uberancy is dead, clearing out that bottom there. Looking at some more of the items, you kind of see some very traditional builds coming out on the blue side. You know, you got Blue Heart and the damage on the Anchor Dive, and Agent Octet on Swiggins. You got Stun Pack and Tedris on the Ted. On Durple, you have Fat Cat, which will never get old. Hydro Collision Lava Lamp, that's the nuke damage, and Force Field, the shield on the Siege. And we're gonna have to wait a second. There's a Hillbot coming out, there's gonna be an Anchor, there's gonna be a nuke, there's gonna be a Rift. All abilities taking a big dive into the red team jungle there. Penny coming back with the flank, gets the pulse off, but it's not gonna be enough. He's just gonna get caught out, snare in the entirety of the blue team. It's gonna get out 1 HP. Also picks up Voltar, who wanted to do some assassination there. Jelly not there for any of that team, but I can potentially still pick up a frag, but he's in a 1v3 scenario, finds a Rift, misses the snipe. That's unfortunate. And now he's still going in, manages to pick up Urancy, but at the cost of that turret, he might be able to take out Roachgate here. Roachgate's going to pick up the health. As soon as Roachgate has Anchor Dive back, he's just not even going to need it. Very bad snipe there, and gets taken off by the auto attack before he can trigger it. And now that's going to be leaving them in a 3-for-1 scenario. Well, a 3-for-1 trade. However, Funyun and Voltar are back in lane, and they're going to get a little bit of chip off on Roachgate. What went wrong there, I think, is Jelly was far too late to that team fight. He was busy clearing on the bottom. I think he should have let some chip happen on the bottom so he could come up and take that, because they could have easily made that a 3-for-0. They had the Rift and the snipe there from Pico, but but at the time he could even snipe, he was in a position where he had to give up his life to even attempt it, and he didn't even manage to get that snipe off. Now, you see Uberancy and Roachcake, they're taking those droids down. The knockback stalling, the ref's stalling, but they still have 2 droids and a super, and they're trying to get the poke, they're trying to make the red team pay health in order to in order to defend that, using those Tetris smokes. And we're going to get a lane rotation here. There's the anchor dive, there's the anchor hook. You're going to see the penny going down, Voltar going down. Also, that's going to be a double kill in favor of Roach Cake. Now Jelly once again left to defend. 1v3 gets the rift on the bottom lane while the blue team sets up the droids here. So it's not just the builds, I think, but I also think, they're getting caught out on these lane rotations. What do they need to do to, be able to get to top lane to bottom lane safely without the fear of death coming out?
I think it is going to be trying to get into their use of what little CC they may have to their advantage. Voltar does have the knockback drones, but I don't really see that coming into play too much. And like you said, especially getting knockback on Healbot would go a long way in order to maintain a little bit more control, a little bit more safety when it comes to actually engaging in any kind of team fight that they may either want to avoid or want to control a little more. As well as Rift. They got slow, double slow right there, which is a little bit of a strange pickup to get before damage in my opinion. But it is going to be a pickup nonetheless, as well as height on Rift. So using potentially that to get between lane rotations, if they keep getting caught on these lane rotations and that's their source fire now, maybe that's where they need to be focusing a little bit more, maybe popping a Rift every single lift rotation. Maybe it'll be a little bit much, but if that's where their source split is right now, they need to be changing something about this strategy for sure in that case.
No, absolutely. And we're actually going to see the blue team go into the red team's solar boss, and then red team's not even trying to contest it. Uberancy still less than half the health there, but look at those snares. Like, at this point, they are so cut off from each other, and as bad as split lane can be, they are forced to split lane. And that just kind of really messes up the whole strategy that we're talking about here of, getting together. And we're actually going to see a missed Humboldt coming out from Roach Cake, and so he's going to be without abilities for a couple seconds. Might be time for the red team to make a move. Not quite yet. They are still at 8-1 kill deficit, 3 level difference. We do see Cortex Tank getting picked up by the Voltar now, so he's going to have those double knockbacks going, but then you have to look at all the damage on the blue side of things, because now that Swingers is packing auto attack damage, he has the spoon break damage. We're going to see Durple caught on a Rift here, he's taking a lot of damage. I say that, but he actually picks up the health on the top lane. Now Uberancy is able to go ahead and get some push going. They're getting really greedy here. I want to see this. This is when, Roach Cake's rotating on the red team jungle by himself at 25% HP, right? And red team doesn't collapse from the top because those grid traps are there. Take those grid traps. You're not going to get punished for being on them. That's an easy frag for them to pick up there. Penny could have easily taken that Swiggins there. Now we're going to see Uberancy and Ted are going to... why do I keep saying that? It's I guess easy to say.
Yeah.
But
it just flows off the tongue really well.
Exactly. Uberancy and Anva taking that mid, getting those droids once again pushed up, and then Anchor Dive coming out onto Funyun here. Hillbot gonna take him well. Takes the break damage, but it's gonna be fine. Chupa Joe keeping him lit. And now we're gonna see a stump back come out. There's gonna be an airstrike. It doesn't hit anyone. They just use their airstrike. They just use their stun. I want to see the red team put some pressure on here. I want to see them deal some damage. We're going to see the Hillbot come out. It's not going to touch anyone. There's the Humble. It's going to be lost. Red team backing up. Even though blue team is 50% health, I want to see red team go in there and punish blue team for being so confident. Right now is the perfect time for them to do so. We're going to see some footsie knots coming out. We're going to see the gun penny, the spider collector's badge, and all the random shots from a Voltar go there. We're going to see Roach Cake once again go in, miss everything. Humboldt destroyed. Namba taking out the red team solar boss. Red team doing nothing to contest this. They feel just too contested by that. We're going to see a fight come here. Here's the airstrike. Funyun caught out on the hook and gets taken out. Jelly, once again, zoned out on the bottom there. He's just going to use this Rift to cut off that rotation. Nothing much happens. Got one Raylan on bottom team and a Voltar on the top team. And the blue team going in very aggressively. And that Siege nuke, not Siege nuke, but just regular nuke, going to take out Voltar, defending that. Now, Jelly going to have to make the long lane rotation to defend. Takes out a Rift, not going to hit anything. Gets the snipe. Barely Uberancy survives that. 3-level difference on the XP system, really showing what it can do, because 100% that was a kill if the levels were even. Now, Jelly and Funyun rotating down the bottom, seeing if they can chase. Jelly takes the snare, gets the snipe, but Funyun is not able to follow up. If he had gotten the Pulse Pounce combo, that would have been a kill on Namba. Now, they rotate back top. They're going to take out some droids here. They need to... They're really having trouble, I think, realizing that they can go in, and there's a lot of times, like right here, both of them caught in a Rift. I want to see a pounce. I want to see that stun, and with that time slow, amplifying the duration of that stun, get that pulse in there. I want to see Funyun using his abilities, because I think you know, he's one of those guys that can just really get the blue team low with one nicely timed pulse. But when you look at what he's building into, he's actually got just Rayman badge, Cookie Monster badge, and Spider-Bird Collector badge. He's just got auto attack upgrades. How do you feel about this? Is that what we should be seeing from the spinning right now?
I would agree that I think that they're maybe making some interesting decisions, and I almost want to say borderline careless, I would say. I mean, like you're saying, there are some lane rotations the blue team is doing when their abilities are down or when they're like not full health or in less than ideal situations, and I feel like there's simply missed opportunities, frankly. Like for instance, those rifts that are coming down. One thing that I would say that I feel like red team does have the advantage overall is going to be in just general harassment, especially from the Penny as well as the, that's going to have to wait a second, there's going to be a team fight going on right there. Finally, they're going to be able to get in there and actually get a kill right there. So Swings are going to be going down, Uberans are going to be looking a little bit low as well. And so that gives the red team a little bit of safety to go in. Not really going to be doing a whole lot, unfortunately. The Raylan's going to be relatively low, so he's not going to be able to go in just yet. They are going to be taking their solar bus for the first time in a little bit, though, so that's at least a little bit of a benefit right there. And just with that single kill, just because they were behind a little bit, the XP was a little bit worth more. So it is actually going to be a 2-level difference at this point instead of a 3. So things are going to be helping out a little bit. But unfortunately, I'll have to say and point out again that I feel like it's a bit of a missed opportunity that they didn't really do a whole lot. Swiggins was down for a while, and you know the Ted and Penny, or not Ted and Penny. That's going to wait a second because Penny. So I was interrupted a little bit in my thought process. Was going to be cut out right there. Unfortunately, going to be just kind of taken off right there. There's going to be the little weird graphical thing going on. Maybe Derpal was reconnecting. That is a nice riff that's going to be going right there. Derpal, I think, is disconnecting or something.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Wait.
I don't really know what happened with the Derpal. I don't know if you all saw that at home, but what happened right there was there was a siege Derpal just kind of hopping around middle for a second right there.
Free-to-play players still didn't see anything. Tournament
right.
is perfectly normal and acceptable.
No, yeah, that was interesting, but I don't really know if Derpal quote-unquote did anything in that case, but nonetheless, it is going to be red team's advantage at this point. They're going to be actually taking down the top turret now, so this is kind of more along the lines of what I think we are both looking for, that they can be able to push when they can push and get opportunities like this, and they did get a double right there, you know, potentially effectively a wipe, but what that means is that they are going to be able to get a little bit more map coverage. So with that, they're going to be pushing their abilities a little bit more. But here they're going to be going back to what they were doing before. Ray on bottom, just covering that with the Rift and Snipe, as well as Penny and Voltar on top, covering those things. And right there, what Ray did right there specifically is actually something that I wanted to see while they were doing this. And I think you mentioned it as well. You know, if there's no one around, just go ahead and eat the Derpal Snare Trap. There's no risk in doing it. It clears the lane, so that if you need to do that quickly, then you can do that quickly. So that's one of the things that I'll point out and actually commend specifically, because I like to point that out in my own matches as well. But with that, not too much going to be going right here. Like I said, Footnotes going on. Ignore that giant string of characters that appears above Penny's head. So that's weird, a little bit of weird. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, as some would say. But that's going to be it right there. Ray is going to be up top, and Ted is going to try to initiate on that, but the Rift is going to be placed just so that he can't really do much more of that. So there is going to be a base exposure on the red side. We didn't really point that out too much because there was a double kill, and that red is pushing that opportunity a little bit more, but their base is exposed. They are still 2 levels behind. Solar is also going to be that's actually fairly behind. Penny's only looking at around 1200 Solar, while the lowest member on the blue team is looking at about 1800. So her specifically is about 600 Solar behind. You know, that's about 3-4 upgrades depending on what you buy. So at this point, even though they got a nice double and things are a little bit more even, blue team, I would say, is still more advantageous. So the almost swing is going to be going down right there, and Uberans is going to be caught out alone over here, and it's actually going to be going down in that situation. So that was a nice pickup right there, just nice. A little bit overextension on Ted's part right there, and red team going to be able to capitalize in that situation. So that was good. But yeah, overall, red team not quite out of the woods yet. You know, pushing a little bit more of their advantages, but not doing much more than that, in my opinion. But what would you say with the Penny build right there? She actually is starting to build into pulse, but not seeing really any pulse damage. I do see range and
that's what I was looking at. It was like pulse and amplify, so she can only get damage or silence now. I think silence against, you know, like especially swings and 10, it's like really, really critical. So I don't think it's not gonna be good for them. Like they're, you know, that's Rolls is probably the primary team fight ability. And like, look right here. Oh, he actually manages to pick it out. The pounce right in front of there. There's gonna be the airstrike. It's gonna hit everyone, but after the Hillbot, so they stay alive. Uberancy going in and trying to avenge his fallen comrade. Not happy that Roach Cake died. Uberancy taking the full 2v3. They're committing to this, and Durple is really having trouble getting in, but red team is gonna Hillbot right quick. Airstrike on the rotation. Jelly is going to not get snared. Misses Rip, misses Snipe, and for all intents and purposes, they prevented all push during that 1-for-0. Voltar going ahead and picking up pills and barrier magazine to make himself quite more chunky. Chupa Joe knowing that he, you know, it can be easy to collapse on a Voltar if you don't have the right upgrades. Gonna see the airstrike coming out. Not gonna hit a thing. Hillbot there. The Hillbot mine that deals so much damage gonna be out there while the Uberancy holding the mid by himself while the blue team takes another solo boss, getting, you know, another chunk of XP and 20 solar for each member of their team. Anchor dive coming out right there, and there's going to be a big fight. There's going to be the airstrike coming out, but it's not going to make a kill. There's going to be a rip, there's going to be a snipe, and everyone on the red team getting really low. Voltar doing his best to just top everyone off, but that is a process, and we're going to see now the blue team take another solar boss right in that red team jungle again. Red team in no position to contest. They got the grid traps completely cutting off that rotation, and they're just in such a good scenario. There's gonna be a double airstrike there landing on the Jelly and Bunyan. Roach Cake gonna go in, bait the snipe, and use the teleport tech to actually dodge that, going in for that mid-air jump with Swiggins, where if you fall off a platform and then you hold teleport, you can jump in mid-air. Very, very nice bait coming out from him, and they're finally going to take out that bottom turret that they've been trying to for the past 18 minutes with that Raylan Rift, just keeping the defense game up. We see the third pulse upgrade from Penny being picked up. She's going to be getting the bug jars. That is the damage. So no silence for her this game. But she will be dealing out lots of damage and making sure she hits as many people as she can, because she got that range. She's got a 25% amplify. That's like Sam actually had a really good analogy for it. It's like the reverse monarch blessing is what 25% amplify is. And Jelly gonna get caught out, and they just kind of noticed him at the last second that he was in a grid trap. Roach Cake went in with the anchor, with the hook, and the rip not enough to save him. That's gonna be a very clean 1-for-0. And Swiggins looks like he's actually gonna go to base. He's got Namba backing him. Uberancy just looks like he's gonna be pushing bottom, and they might just be able to end it there. They don't find the nuke. There's gonna be the hook. It's gonna be destroyed. There's gonna be the knockback kill bot, and Namba trying to see if he can find a rotation off that jump pad. And Uberancy finally has droids. Finally gets double airstrike. But the red team's gonna Hillbot it off, and we're gonna see the projectiles coming off here, and just it continues to be just the
ray up top.
The what?
The ray up top is gonna be caught alone, unfortunately. Just another simple, very clean 1-for-0 there. That's unfortunate. 2 ray deaths in a row. Like I said, not very much contested by the part of the blue team. Blue team is gonna be going in right there. Uberancy are going to be going down right there, but it is going to be Voltar down as well, and Penny going to be looking really, really weak, so it's going to be left Durple and Swigs pushing the base and Penny defending right there. She does have range at least, so it's not going to be at least the worst thing in the world, but it is going to be pretty tough. Blue team is going to be backing off, unfortunately, or fortunately in some cases. Penny is going to be caught right there in the nuke, and that is going to be her going down, just falling right into that trap, unfortunately. And Durple going to be right there, and going to be looking for that snipe from that, and it is going to be going down right there. It's going to be 1v1 right there to Swiggins versus Ray. Swiggins looking to get that kill, and he does secure it eventually. So it's going to be kind of like a bunch of trades so far right now. And right now, Swiggins going to be trying to 1v1 that Voltar. Just going to be starting to back out after the Hubot goes out, the Hugh Mine potentially being the turn right there as well. So overall, a lot of interesting things going on. The kills have been made out to be 8 kills on the red team and then 16 kills on the blue team. Blue team still has a 2-level lead, and then a pretty strong solar lead still. Average blue team member looking around 2,500 or so. Average red team member is looking at about 1,800-ish or so. So pretty staunch difference in that right there, I would say. So things are looking pretty dire overall for the red team, I would say. But I mean, frankly speaking, I feel like they were just being defensive for the longest time, and that's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade right there. An airstrike gonna take out Penny, and then Ted going to be going down to some residual damage there as well. So overall, like I said, things are looking pretty rough for the red team. Blue team looking fairly comfortable. They've just been going at that solo boss over and over again without really red team contesting them whatsoever.
Their solar bosses are like double.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been taking their own. They've been pretty good about taking their own. We can see that both on both sides they've been taken by the blue team in this case. I can only remember I think two off the top of my head that the red team has taken. That was only their own. Blue team has definitely taken more of red team's solar bosses than red team themselves has. Roche is going to be caught in that rift, but unfortunately just going to be knocked out by that heal bot. Might have been something a little bit different if they were actually able to capitalize on him being in there, but that's going to be a little too late, I would say. They are going to be just doing some simple lane rotation, some footsie nods going on, if you will. Nothing too exciting going right now. Just simple clearing lanes, nothing crazy going on. But what do you think would be the win condition at this point for the blue team? Is there even a win condition at this point?
Oh, absolutely. Well, for the blue team, they need to go in. They just need to try their best to find another frag, get one more grid trap, one more nice clean anchor dive. Red team, they need to be aggressive. They're about to hit a level up, and they're gonna hit it for a tiny smidge before blue team becomes 17. If they can take a fight when it's 15 versus 16, they might be able to win it. They get the good pulse and rip that will decide it, and then just go in with that damage. Chuba needs to try and get his damage in without knocking them out, but it's not gonna end up, and Jelly gonna get caught out. There's gonna be a frag as the anchor dive and the hook kicks him out, but Uberancy caught out on a bad spot. He destroys the hill bot. There's not gonna be a mine there, and we're gonna see the pulse range pickup finally showing what that range can do. Take out Uberancy 1-for-1. Namba taking out those lane rotations. Swinging's going to the jungle trying to find a little bit of health. Roach Cake just about to go down. He's doing the little helicopter style and wants to drop down as soon as the opportunity becomes available. Bunyan gonna go and heal up there, and his name keeps on changing. I don't think the game likes his in-game symbols.
No, it has to do with the in-game coding. It's a weird codex that is. Anyway,
oh, there's gonna be a double rip.
Things that are actually relevant.
Pulse is gonna miss. That was their chance. That was such a nice rip that they managed to follow up on that, but they were just so far behind that they weren't ready. That's just unfortunate, you know. Now the blue team taking on that solar boss. And we're gonna see anchor dive coming in. Anchor hook drop on Jelly. The dive on Penny. There's gonna be an airstrike and stump back. Not gonna hit anything. Rift and Hillbot coming out. There's gonna be a snipe. It's out. Uberancy, red team full, but blue team going in. Namba tanking for his team, puts a grid trap off the jump pad rotation there. That's preventing jump pad use coming out from the red team. We're gonna see a snipe coming out, and we're gonna see Jelly, and gonna get taken out because he gets punched for that snipe with an anchor dive, airstrike, and anchor drop. Chuba Joe manages to take out Namba, but then Uberancy takes out Chuba Joe. That's gonna leave Funny to defend 1v2. Just trying his best here. It's all or nothing. He should be able to go in as soon as his abilities are ready, but he has to play this very carefully. Come on. Oh my gosh, that timing cooldown there right before he can get his abilities out. Roach Cake is going to take out Funyun, leading them to get the victory as they last hit the base. I honestly thought that Funyun was going to pick that up because like he's got to have pulse by now. That's an easy pulse. That's just unfortunate.
Yeah. Overall, pretty unfortunate in that situation. Just one-on-one defense. I don't know if he even got the kill. It would have been really a decisive victory at that point. Frankly speaking, base would have been at 1 bar, maybe 2 bar, and then you still have to deal with the Uberancy and Ted, as you seem to like to say. But other than that, I mean, interesting game so far. Pretty decisive victory for the blue team, I would say. Any kind of comments on that?
Well, the blue team played their comp well. They played it confidently. Red team had the penny and had the rip that just would do a lot of damage, but they just weren't playing the comp, you know. Pulse and Rift or Pounce and Rift means nothing if you're not actually doing it. Do it on the same note, following up on grid traps or, putting an airstrike on an anchor drop means nothing if you don't actually do it. When the blue team did their comp, the red team didn't, and that's plain and simple why they won. I don't think they inherently outcomped the red team. The Swingins did kind of push it in their favor, but like the comps could have been reversed and the red team played as passive as they did, even with the blue team's comp. The same thing would have happened, honestly and truly, because the red team was always felt nervous. They always felt zoned out. They weren't building into their comp, going for that maximum company first. They went for a push comp, but were pushed back the entire time, quite ironically. And they had the capabilities of taking out a turret. The moment they got some kills going in, but like the opportunities were so rare, and They were going for this style that relied on, you know, just constantly being in front of a turret and chipping it, and it's just not how it played out, because they were constantly just trying to defend themselves from the onslaught and the death trap that was Team Run. And one of the main things they could have done, they could have built to be a more team fight centric team and gone for those combos, gone for that silence to shut down some of those traps, and not fall for as many of those grid traps, because some of the times they just kind of gave themselves up to death just by kind of getting a very unfortunate one. They you know, should stop trying to take on Swiggins 1v1. Those are some of the things that just will never work out well that they were doing, that they need to be mindful of. But yeah, that would just about sum it up. Just in general, play your comp the way it's meant to be played, and if you know you're getting zoned out by them, like, don't be afraid of them. Make them be afraid of you, I guess, is the moral of the story. When you have that mentality, oh, I can't go in, he's right there, make them have that mentality. And then from there, the kills will start, and lane rotation interruptions will just start to happen naturally, is how that works out. Anyways, this is a best of 3. We have another match, potentially 2, Blue Shell versus Run to watch. Do not go anywhere, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to match 2 of Run versus Blue Shell. After just kind of a very decisive win for Team Run, we are now back and it's on the map of Aguilan. This time they're going to be Team 1. I want to give everyone a pleasant reminder. We are doing our bet system. Type who you think is going to win into the chat now. Just type red team or blue team. Guess correctly to be eligible for giveaway after the match. Until the match begins, get your guesses in. Pyro Cheese, why don't you take us through these drafts, sir?
So, for the draft, since on the red team is going to be played by the Team Run. They're going to be banning Genji and Deadlift, going again with similar bans from last match. Actually picking up Lux, Sentry, and Clunk. So basically full-on tank mode on that team. And on the other side, we're going to have a ban of Derpal and Vinny, while they're going to be picking up Ted, Penny, and Voltar. So similar comp to what they were running last time, basically just switching out the Ray for a Ted in this case. And it's going to be on the map of Aguilan, like you said. So it's going to be kind of interesting, I would say, to see how it's going to be playing out. Just a full-on tank team versus a not tank team, basically. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be one side or anything like that. They do still have a lot of arsenals to go about. Clunk going to be a big damage dealer, obviously. Sentry going to offer a little bit of control. At the same time, there's going to be a lot of CC coming out from the other team. You know, if we're going to see a lot of knockback coming from Voltar, that's potential. We did see a last match. Stun and Am coming from Penny, as well as stun in multiple fashions coming out from Ted. Which against a team of tanks, which, you know, if you get a lot of CC on them, really they just become a big hitbox for them, just a health pool to be drained. So if we see some of that action, that'd be very nice to see. It is going to be, you know, 1-0 in favor of Run. So Team Blue Shell is definitely going to be looking for a win in this case to stay in this best of 3 match setup.
Definitely. What happens if the blue team goes the push comp again that they tried last time? They, you know, they're definitely going some of the same knots here, and Ted can definitely fit that role that Raylan did last game.
I would say that they need to be a little bit more cautious. You know, if there's anything to be learned from the last match, I would say that they do need to be a little bit more aggressive in general. However, with the red team's composition, I would say that red team does benefit a little bit more from overextension. I would say Sentry can definitely catch people out with a black hole, potential silence coming out from his Hellburst, but at the same time, there's going to be a Lux where, you know, Lux has that charge, and every Lux player knows that they like coming from behind and just pushing and shoving people back into turrets. You know, we could potentially see a lot of CC coming out from the blue team in order to cancel that happening, but if there is going to be some push happening from the blue team, they do go that push comp, that's going to be something that we're definitely going to be looking out for, and Lux is probably going to be looking out for in this case. And Clunk, you know, pretty slow character, so it's a lot easier for him if the fight comes to him rather than if he goes to fight. So with that in mind, I think it's going to be interesting to see how blue team plays this out. Like I said, they're looking for a win to stay alive in this matchup, and if they go a similar route that did last time, it might not end how they would like. So hopefully we're going to see something a little bit different in this case.
Well, with that said, we will see if it goes differently, because it's time to get into the game. My friend, I am at the...
Let's go ahead and get into this in 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off on the blue side. You got Chupa Joe playing the Ted. You got Jelly this time picking up the Voltar. And you have Funyun once again playing the Penny. On the red side of things, you got Dave W. See, why did I say that? He popped up as online on my Steam and I just said his name. Roach Cake playing his signature clunk that he is so well known for. Uberancy playing the Ted. Wow.
You good? You alright, man?
Yeah, Uberancy playing the Jimmy Nolex 5000 and Namba playing the Dave W. What is going on? I can't focus.
I mean, words, you know, it's a difficult language. English is one of the hardest languages to learn in the human civilization.
Like, people like kept on coming up on my Steam Online, and never mind, there's gonna be explode, but it barely misses despite the double black hole there.
Wow.
I kept on seeing like people come online on Steam, and I just like started automatically saying their names. I should stop doing that. Awkward.
It's not good.
Anyways, we're gonna see that them getting that chip off on the top lane. That Roach Cakes explode. Barely missed on Namba's Sentry Black Hole, which is really unfortunate because that would have been a double kill first blood right there. And now we're gonna see that knockback, and that's just gonna be devastating. You see the piggy bank into knockback. Once again, the same build that Chupa went, now coming out on Jelly. It's going to be a lot more effective against this comp here. I mean, knockback does wonders versus Clunk, and it's also extremely irritating to the Sentry and to the Jimmy and the Lux 5000. Red team going to be taking up that top lane there. Blue team making a rotation. Chupa Joe going in. He's invis. Going to look for the perfect stump back. There's going to be the knockback. There's the air strike. He doesn't going to hit anything. There's going to be a few knockback turns coming out. They're going to get a good chip on the top lane here. Hillbot coming out, topping off the red team. And now we're going to see airstrike going to come out. Going to hit the Sentry black hole. Not going to be doing much there. We're going to see Jimmy and Clunk taking up that top lane. Random pokes coming out. And just kind of a little bit more push coming out from the red side of things there. And everything going pretty smoothly. Pretty smoothly indeed. What would you say, what do you call it? Is kind of the kill conditions for each team here?
I think on the red side it's going to be a little bit tough because wow, now it's coming. It's contagious. Voltar is going to have a lot of knockback options as far as being able to get out of situations. You know, it's going to be effectively a direct counter to Clunk in that situation, funnily enough, even if Voltar is generally considered a little more vulnerable. It's going to have to wait a second because there's going to be a triple explode going to go off on the blue team. Hillbot going to be going off on a Voltar exclusively. So Chupa Joe going to be right there caught in the black hole. Not a whole lot of damage and not a whole lot of follow-up on that either. But that was a nice explode. Nice to see that, you know, Roach Cake, like I said, known for his Clunk, is going to be able to get in there and actually do something. There's going to be another team fight going in there. Black Hole going to be coming out right there. And this is one of the things that I wanted to point out is a kind of coordination of ability, especially coordinating and kind of collapsing on a good black hole. Is something that we haven't really seen too much of. We saw it almost in the first team fight where you were having a stroke or something like that, but with the mist explode, that would have been a nice double. And we kind of see right now in a couple of the team fights that we've seen, it's been kind of like a mixed bag of, like, you know, one ability after another, but there's not really a whole lot of coordination to actually make them go off at the same time. And like I said, especially coordinating around that black hole, which I think is going to be one of the biggest things that they want to be looking for. And that's going to be almost Uberanzi going down right there. The Lux is going to be able to charge out just right there. Clunk going to be caught alone, but Knockback going to be able to just send him flying a little bit further than they potentially want to. Double-edged sword, that Knockback can be sometimes very good to get away from situations, but sometimes also going to be just simply knocking away enemies when you want them to stay where they are. But yeah, on the red team, I do think that the kill condition is going to be a nicely placed black hole, followed up by either a Clunk explode or a nicely placed Jimmy danger pins, which they do have right now, or a couple of missiles. Either way, that'd be something nice. Uberanzi almost going to be going down right there, speaking of which. And there's going to be black hole right there, and nothing going to come out of it. Penny going to be using her dash to simply escape out of that. On the blue side, though, kill conditions are going to be a little bit different. Not so simple, just because, you know, there is a lot of knockback involved. There's a lot of CC involved as well. But with that, they do need to be on forcing a little bit more of a brawly team fight, because they are not going to be so burst-centric. Penny going to be, you know, looking for the auto attacks and make sure that she can land those. While I was talking there, by the way, there was going to be another team fight that's going off. Red team going to be forced on their back heels in that situation. Two of them going to be very, very low. Ted going to be pushing that top turret. I said Ted, but I meant Lux, so I tried to save him by saying, oh, he's just going to be doing damage.
It's contagious.
It's contagious. What have you done? It's started all over again. Anyway.
I'm so excited because Jimmy just finally picked up the upgrade that I always want people to pick up. It's Mousy, Micey the mech pilot.
Isn't that Mickey Mouse, the mech engineer, anything like that? No? Yeah,
he's picking up the Mickey Mouse upgrade and then dies immediately. Man, he's playing exactly like my Jimmy. It gets first blooded on that top lane, trying to get that stun back under initiation. Now the blue team gonna be taking up that top lane there, and getting some push in. They've already got a lot of chip on that tower. Namba going in for a black hole doesn't hit anyone. That was a nice silence telefract coming out from him. Airstrike gonna come out and not much gonna happen. Jelly doing it. Aggressive plays here, using the Voltar to chase out the explode. Roachka gonna go in, barely misses that. Now Chupa Joe's in a really bad position. Jimmy's in prime position to go in. This might just be a double kill here. Definitely gonna get taken out. The danger pin not just gonna be not hitting him, gets knocked out before the danger bin connects. Now Jelly doing the teleport jump pad to go ahead and very quickly rotate up to the top lane. Hillbot gonna come out there, top off everybody's health. We're gonna see him knocking back those droids down. Now he's going to go down to defend the bottom lane, but the Mice of the Mech Pilot's going to push him out a little bit, and we're going to see those droids pushing up there, and we're going to see Roachcake guarding that lane rotation. It gets out though, gets chased a little bit by the airstrike, but manages to pick up the stealth orb. We got Clunk with the stealth orb, manages to go in, misses the explode, but still misses the bite, but manages to hit the explode on both Funyun and he gets caught on Black Hole off the jump pad rotation. Last hit going towards them, but now Chupa Joe in the exact same situation. Jelly about to dive in too, is thinking his turn, but he's not going to go down that jump pad like his teammates did, and defends that top lane. He uses those knockbacks to try and buy him time, but he has to watch out for that telefrag in the danger bin. Seriously explode. That top turret just getting beat up by the red team. Now Jelly is kind of in a very unfortunate situation. That top turret just in prime position to go down. They need to watch out for Namba. He takes that beacon. It's not going to be a good situation for him. And there's the Clunk Ted airstrike. Ted airstrike coming out, but he gets Black Hole. The Clunk barely missing the explode there. Now they're in good position to try and take a jump out rotation. They could go kill Roachcake there. They're not calling out that he's used explode. Instead, they're going to keep on pushing. They're still going to manage to get a couple more balls off that. The Hillbot does successfully go off. Chupa Joe picking up the stealth orb there, and not much really happening of note. Takes an airstrike, hits Uberancy. Uberancy going to missile to defend that bottom lane. Manages to get a little bit of chip on the Ted as he does that. And Jelly just keeping his teammates nice and healthy. They're going to get some more push going. They're going for that push strategy again, but really managing to make it work this time. Getting that top turret down to its real last leg there. Chupa Joe caught in a bad situation. Explode going to take him out. And now Funyun in a bad spot. Going to take out those creeps though. They should be able to take this team by Jelly being able to assassinate both Roachcake and Uberancy. Getting that double Hillbot knockback into his own turret. That's going to turn that into a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of Blue Shell. Exactly what they need to come back to this. So like a true Blue Shell. But trying to go for a double kill there. Would have found it if he managed to find the beacon. Unfortunately, he got canceled out of that. And now he's going to go ahead and consume that. So it'll be back. Very, very nice attempt. I would have loved to have seen that double kill happen. And now we're going to see airstrike hits Namba, gets taken out before the black hole can happen. That's going to be another kill going to Jelly's Voltar. They should be able to take out this top turret now, but the explode going to come out, going to hit Funyun, and that is going to barely be keeping them. Now Chupa Joe really low, but getting the enemy team really low also. Now Jelly picks up that top turret. Everyone just down to 1 HP. Chupa getting really cocky there. That stun pack canceling out the bite so he doesn't get snared. Very, very good timing on that. It's rare that you see a bite get canceled out by a stun like that. Now he just gets caught out, looking to see if he can pick up that turret. That's unfortunate. He tried to get that airstrike in at the last second. That was just very greedy and a very cheeky Lux initiation coming out by Uberancy. And he was just kind of hiding in that stealth bush there. Now Namba coming out with the black hole charge, kind of pushing them back a little bit, getting some some little chip off on that bottom lane turret. Hillbot through the jump pad, and then there's the Hillbot mine. Very, very nicely snuck in there coming out from Jelly. Once again, he's been playing a very, very good Voltar. I gotta give him credit. Looking at the builds, that's gonna have to wait a second. Roachki coming in with the explode. Very clean pickoff. Black hole initiation. Just very, very clean A to B type flowchart gameplay that gets the red team another 1-for-0, bringing the kills from 7 to 4. Full level deficit. Looking at the build there on Penny, you see Gun Penny opening up, but this time you see pulse damage, then range. What do you think we'll see next, and how is this different order from last time going to affect her gameplay, Pyro?
Well, for quick reference, in the last game, she was actually focusing a lot more on her auto attack. Her Gun Penny would say she went damage, Gun Penny obviously, as well as I believe something else. I can't quite remember, but basically. Okay, but basically what that means is that she was definitely going for the straight damage auto. It's like being able to clear quickly, potentially doing a lot of poke damage. But with this, she's definitely focusing a little more on actual fighting, not so much on pushing itself. So I think that's a welcome change, in my opinion. Definitely something that you'd want to go with against a tanky team like this. because a lot of the damage is going to be coming out from both the pulse itself as well as the amp damage is going to be coming after that. Amp damage on tanks is always pretty scary. You know, like you said, effectively the reverse Genji blessing can always be pretty devastating in that situation. I also do want to point it out that generally speaking, they are playing a lot more aggressively, the blue team. You know, Blue Shell, last team, basically always on the defense, but this time they are a little bit more comfortable being the aggressors. I do think that does come out to the draft itself, like the actual compositions a little bit. And just because in this situation it is a little bit more comfortable for them, that's going to have to wait a little bit because there's going to be a big team fight going out right there. 1-for-1 trade right there, a lot of damage coming out. It's going to be the Clunk going down on the blue team and the Ted going down on the, what I said it backwards, the Clunk going down on the red team and the Ted going down on the blue team. I think I said that right. Anyway, 1-for-1 trade right there. Going to be left with a Voltar, Penny, Ted, Voltar, Penny, Sentry, Lux on the map. But as far as like builds go and everything like that, I think it's a very nice pick that she's focusing a little bit more on amp and her pulse this round. And just generally speaking, the composition is going to be pretty not necessarily anti-tank, but anti this comp, because this comp specifically does need to be very, very close quarters combat. And like you're saying, this is a very nice Voltar that we're seeing right here. Not only with the build order, but also just general playstyle. But knockback is going to go a long way. Against Clunk, against Lux, like even against Sentry. Sentry is focusing a little bit on Teleburst at this point, getting the dummy explosion damage, and that is going to be pretty hard to engage with a Voltar that's going to be attacking that and canceling that out. There is going to be a black hole that's going to be landing on Ted right there, and so, unfortunately it's going to be taking him out. So it is going to be making the kills 9 in favor of the red team against the blue team's 5. So they're going to be pushing a little bit on the back top turret. And the bottom turret does look like it's going to be going down, as well as Voltar right there, actually. So Penny looking for an engagement right there on the Clunk, and actually going to be finding the kill in that situation. And then just going to be looking for a quick getaway. She is invisible, so this shouldn't be too difficult, although they are searching for her, and she is going to be looking to get out just in this situation. So it is going to be the first 3 turrets are still up on the red team, and only the back 2 are available on the blue team in this situation. So overall, things are pretty even, a lot more even than they used to be in the first match, although red team does still have a level lead as well as a couple of kills in their favor. Solar going to be a lot closer than it was the last match, so things are looking a lot more even, which is just me repeating myself. But in any case, what do you think in this case, because blue team isn't quite out of the woods yet, and like I said, they are looking for a win in this case to stay in this event, so what do you think they need to change up, if anything, in order to actually get where they need to be?
Well, that's going to be hard to say. We're going to have to see how this team fight plays out, because we see a 1-for-1 trade there. And where's my pulse? Where's my... Okay, I guess it was on cooldown, because that was like the perfect lane rotation. Jimmy should 100% been dead there, but they're still hunting him down. And Voltar's going to get... Voltar assassinating Jimby, things that I don't cast every single day. And takes him out. And Jazz123 is probably going to make a clip of all that later. I'm telling y'all now. He's probably going to watch this and like, he sees that, it's like, let me clip that, then here's me, and I guarantee you he's going to be like, oh my god, really? And anyways, now Jelly's going to sneak that little Hillbot Mine into the little bush there, and gets that push, airstrike, gonna barely miss him off the jump pad rotation, and now Namba hits that mine, and we're gonna see another mine get taken off on the left side jump pad. Jelly pushing up those droids there, is not back on the bottom lane, and another airstrike coming out, taking control of that jump pad, and red team gonna go in, barely missing that mine, but now they're gonna go in, kill off Penny. Roach Cake doing his best to survive. Chupa Joe in a really, really bad situation. Missiles from Moorancy coming out. He should take this fight here. He should be able to double kill it, and he does, and barely getting out with the nick of time. And Roach Cake takes the mine, but he's clunked, so he doesn't really care about his health. And so now they're just going to be keeping his the push going down that bottom lane. Gets the droid set up, explodes all over him, and gets the chip. Uberancy cleaning up that top lane. The bottom turret just getting melted there. No one left in lane to defend. Funny now just getting back, doing his best. Gets the pulse out and doesn't manage to get the charge tech going. And now we're gonna see Namba looking to see if he can get a sneaky black Olahan here. There it is, but the explode isn't gonna whip. Jelly takes out Roach Cake, and the red team now on the run. Haha. because you get it, because their team names Run, and now Voltar going in, gets caught in a black hole. Uberancy not able to get the missile follow-up without endangering himself. Their jungle is completely denied. Blue team doing a lot of heavy area denial right now. Those knockbacks doing work. Hillbot going off right in front of the red turret. That's going to mean, on the top red turret, that's going to mean a lot of push. Airstrike coming out. There's the telefrag, but not before that pulse takes out Uberancy right off the jump pad rotation. Uses that momentum to get them by surprise. Very well done coming out from Namba. Stupid Joe manages to take out that stealth from on the retreat. He's more than likely going to burn it. Indeed, he has to take out these droids. Take out that super droid. We're going to see Barrier Magazine pills being picked up by Voltar. He's going to be very, very difficult to kill now. The only other person that we see picking up pills right now is Jimmy. I think right now that Roach Cake and Namba can pretty much secure this for their team if they go ahead and pick up pills. We see Micey, I believe that's Adventures in Rocket Land is the name of that upgrade. Indeed it is. The damage on the missile barrage that picks up by 20%. Getting picked up, that's going to be a lot more chip. Great, more black hole follow up. Black hole coming out. It's double explode. That should be a kill. It's only going to pick up one, and Jelly actually gets out of that by 1 HP. That Barrier Magazine pick up doing incredible work, and then manages to pick up Roach Cake as he tries to commit, but he's got the pot shot going on. I thought 100% that was a double kill. There's going to be another airstrike there. Not going to do that much chip. And the Hillbot going around, trying to get them with those knockbacks in that mine. Not going to do it particularly at that exact moment. Full black hole coming out from Namba. He's going to see if he can find initiation. He has the telefrag, but Jilly is aware. I would like to see... I guess it's too late now. He won't be able to pick up a miss. He's got the full telefrag damage. What do you think the Sentry should be building into next? Should it be the black hole or the auto attack?
I do think it should be the black hole. The red team, or the blue team I should say, doesn't really have a whole lot of escape mechanisms from the black hole aside from Penny. The only thing they have in defense would be knockback from either Ted or a stun from the Ted, as well as a knockback coming out from the Voltar. But as far as them being able to stay in there, that's going to be Voltar going out there down, unfortunately. Again, that jump pad coming out to get a nice frag on him from the Clunk. Clunk, one of, if not the slowest character in the game, but going off the jump pad, he goes just as fast as everyone else, so using that momentum to his advantage, was able to get a nice surprise on Voltar, and actually going to be getting a kill off in that situation. But yes, like I was mentioning, totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the black hole I think is what he should be building next, since he was long story short of that.
Well, yeah, the Voltar picking up that extra damage. He's gonna be doing a lot more now. Voltar's auto attack is surprisingly powerful once you build into it. That Twisted Nightmares, if he gets the Chilly Eye drop, which he more than likely will, can end up doing a good 300-400 damage burst. And if you combine that, nice telefrag coming out from Namba. That's going to be a double kill. Uberancy picking up with the danger bins. That was a very good telefrag. Dishing out that silence, dishing out that 800 or so damage. It's extremely hard to pull off. But right there in the blue team jungle, hits two of them. Now Jelly left to defend the base alone, because they're going to see if they can win this and go ahead and advance. They're going in. That base is at 50%. Jelly can only do so much. He's trying his best to knock back late. Voltar, once built into it, is an okay defender. Like, he's not particularly bad. He's not particularly good. He baits the black hole. The Hillbot's going to go out there, and a bunch of damage coming out, but Chupa Joe trying to get them to go in, and just gets completely taken out and fragged very fast. Now, Pulse is going to lead to an auto attack finish coming out from Funyun, who barely survives. Namba going to go back. Uberancy gonna try and bait him. Watch this. He's unfortunately unable to. He gets too beat up by the knockbacks there. And Namba could try and go in right now. Nah, he's not going to. He could, because right now the Voltar is advanced a little bit, but he's because he's got that beacon sitting there right at that little choke point where that old bottom right back turret was. But he's gonna go stealth. You can still. He has a minimum black hole. He's got a beacon at their base and stealth. A bunch of different things that he can do here. He's right now just kind of trying to escort the droids and the droid on the top lane. And he's more than likely going to try and lead this charge. but see if he can pick up a free black hole here. He gets the double black kill hole, but the knockbacks is going to keep Roach Cake from connecting anything. Now he's actually going to get taken out. Very good counter initiation. Namba's going to see if he can get some base damage going on. Jimmy coming in as fast as he can. Full black hole coming out. And now he's going to pick up some health. And Jimmy doing his best to actually, he uses the third hit auto attack to hit through the base. This could be a good game here. There's going to be a Telefrag taking out Chupa Choke. That's going to leave Voltar by himself. He's got a bunch of droids to clean up, much less defend it from the enemy team that's about to run right in. Funyun back in lane. Is there anything they can do right now, Pyro?
It's pretty tough to say. I mean, they're already attacking the base. There's going to be coming at, you know, a war on two fronts kind of thing, and that's going to be it right there, unfortunately. The kill is the last auto attack from Jimmy, but they're probably going to be killing Volta right there. I mean, we're not going to ever know. But it's going to be ending the game in that case. So it's going to be 2-0 in favor of the team 1. That's going to be the red team right there. So overall, I think it was a pretty good match. You know, I think we were seeing a lot of good things. You know, if we want to talk about improvements from the previous match, I do think that we did see a lot of that. You know, building into Pulse a little earlier. And then a lot of good plays coming out from the knockback on Voltar. Something that I think I might have wanted to see is, and you know, who knows how viable this might have been, but just going a full knockback team. You know, Ted getting his knockback grenades, as well as Penny going knockback pounce. Potentially, I don't know. She didn't get any pounce upgrades. Is something else I did want to point out, which depending on who you ask is either a good thing or a really bad thing. I know some people who fall on both sides of that spectrum. But overall, I do think that when it comes to what the blue team could have done, frankly speaking, I mean, I think the Ted especially needed to be a little bit more careful. I mean, I don't know if he had the kill death ratios going up, but he did go 1 in 12, which is not something that you see very often in scrims. And you do see sometimes in pubs, and regardless of what context it is, frankly speaking, that's not a very great performance. And like I said, it was tough for him. You know, he doesn't have a whole lot of escape mechanisms, but at the same time, he was being caught out alone, especially towards the end. Just a couple of unfortunate situations that he found himself in, and going in when he didn't necessarily need to, or just going in when he was a little bit too low health. And unfortunately, that's going to be how it goes. That kind of did fuel the red team's ability to, you know, gain the soul that they needed to get the items that they needed in order to actually achieve their eventual objective of actually, you know, destroying the base.
Definitely. And they did a really good job of being confident. You know, you would see Jimmy, you know, he would take fights, you know, 1v2 sometimes when he knew he could do it, and he picked up that double kill at one point that he did. And it was a really good display of confidence. I think blue team definitely played significantly better round 2 than they did round 1. They obviously, I think they definitely improved, and I think they kept on playing. And, you know, if it was like a best of 5, you know, game 3 could have easily been their first frag, and I think they could have, or win, they could have taken this. They do have more opportunities as this is a double elimination tournament, and they'll be going down to the loot bracket now. But it is going to be Run that's going to be advancing. Just very good gameplay coming out from them. They were their lineup was more or less your last gathers. It was actually really, I believe last gathers it was Crafted Nightmare instead of Ubrancy. Me and Ubrancy actually casted them last month. Small world. But it looks like Namba and Roach Cake is going to be kind of a dynamic duo here to stay, which I'm really glad to see. Super Joe, Funyun, and Jelly is a new team, but they did play well against some people that, you know, have a bit more competitive experience than them. I do hope to see them, you know, advancing through the loser brackets. With that said, guys, we're going to take a short break. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back, my friends, with another best of 2 new teams.